What is going on, everyone? This is Andrew O'Connell with Pristine Capital coming at you with yet another market recap video. It is Friday, February 12th, 2021. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content, and I will continue to make it for you. Today we're going to provide an update on the Pristine Capital trading service. We are so close to the finish line for our launch. We're going to talk about the price action in the indices. We'll take a look at the sectors and style factors, some of the trades that I took today, as well as some trades that expired. And then we'll wrap up with some options order flow. But before we jump in, quick risk disclaimer. Nothing in this video should be construed as investment advice or recommendations. Please follow your own trading plan, your own risk parameters. And last but not least, do not YOLO your entire account into any one of my trades. All right, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to move this thing up a little bit. There we go. All right. So for the Pristine Capital Trading Service, the signups are going to be available this weekend. So I spent most of the night yesterday putting together my new computer. So my new machine is going to be ready to go. The website is almost done. I'm putting the final touches on tonight in terms of enabling the e-commerce and all that stuff. So for everyone that has reached out to me, I'm going to send you an email this weekend letting you know when these signups are available. And then I will send you, all the information related to the Discord and all of that good stuff. If you have not yet reached out to me, here is my contact information. You can see my email right there, my phone number. So far, I am very pleased with the amount of people that have reached out expressing interest. So I am super pumped to start next week. All right, and let's jump into the market. We're going to talk about a bunch of interesting stuff and actually a stock that I doubled down on today. All right, so we had for our box scores for the day, things resolved to the bullish side. So we had the S&P 500 finishing up 0.49% according to the SPY ETF. We had the NASDAQ QQQ finish up 0.56%. We had the IWM small caps finish up 0.28%. And we had the Dow Jones finish up 0.11%. It was once again the laggard for the day. And if we take a look here, you can see the S&P 500 went on that amazing tear post what I call the GameStop financial crisis. We ran really hard for a solid, 6 days in a row. And then we've been consolidating for the past few sessions, not really making any new progress on the indices. Today, we actually resolved to the upside. So we closed at a new record at 3935.75 for the S&P 500. So we are getting so close to that 4,000 level. You can almost taste it. Let's see, we'll take a look at the hourly chart. As you can see, we were sort of all over the place today. I was actually sort of like in and out of the trading session today because I was working on the website when the market was moving so slow anyway. But yeah, then when I came back, to trade the close, it was like, oh my gosh, all right, we're really moving. So you can see here, this is our hourly chart, and then this is our weekly value area. So you can see earlier in the week, we had a couple shakeouts, and those were actually very challenging to trade. At least for me, there were a couple times where I tried putting hedges on and then got stopped out immediately. So it was definitely kind of like a rocky ride in here for a little bit. But in the grand scheme, not really even that much volatility. And we resolved to the upside. You can see here in the last, hour or two of trading. So it really just made the push higher. One of the things that is super noteworthy that occurred today, there's a bunch of stories out about this in the financial news. You can see the VIX closed below 20 for the first time since coronavirus. So that is, very significant. You can see the VIX just got completely crushed towards the end of the day. It was really getting crushed for the entirety of the day. So if we go to the daily chart, you can see here. And one thing I'm going to try to do for these videos is I want to see if in the future I can shorten them to maybe like 15 minutes. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, just to keep it a little bit tighter. Yeah, you can see the VIX made a new low today and actually broke below this recent range for the first time. So yeah, pretty significant stuff. We'll have to see what happens with that. And then we'll really quickly go through the Qs. You can see a very similar picture here. Yeah, so you can see the Qs making a new high. So everything is looking, pretty bullish at this point. We're going into options expiration next week, so I would keep that in mind. What I've noticed in my experience during options expiration week is, at least in terms of these headline indices, oftentimes there's not really that much movement. It can be a very choppy period, throughout the week, a lot of mean reversion on the tape. So I would just keep that in mind for your trading. Now let's take a look at our sectors and style factors. And you can see here we had these Chinese internet names, taking a very slight breather, really just consolidating in time. So these K-Web stocks, the Chinese technology names, even though they've had a crazy run, there's no violent correction here, literally down 0.09%. You can see the cannabis stocks bounce back after a really sharp correction the other day. And then I am seeing what other areas were strong. We had the ARK funds, have a pretty good day today. And let's see our laggards. Yeah, our laggards, we had utilities lagging, which is, a very risk-on indicator if you have such a defensive sector lagging. We had, let's see, aerospace and defense. And then we had biotech lagging a little bit. So that's kind of interesting. I actually want to take a look through that ETF and see if there's any names, probably during this weekend that look, like they're having a nice dip. In terms of our style factors, every style factor was green today, which is awesome. So we had the leaders international momentum and momentum stocks. And then, wow, high beta as well. High beta was the leader, up 1.05%. And then you can see the high div low vol was a laggard, up only 0.3%. And the min vol was also a laggard. So this looks very risk on, at least into the weekend. And then we do have a 3-day weekend coming up. So we're going to, resume trading on Tuesday. That's when, the service is going live as well. So a lot of times during like shortened holiday weeks, that's another thing. Shortened holiday week, options expiration week, I'm not really expecting much in terms of like huge index moves. We'll have to see though. And then in terms of some of my trades in the watch list, I need to get a better screenshot of this, but just to indicate the Discord, let me see. I'm going to pull that over. And let's take a look. I had some spreads that expired today, which is cool. I had a couple that were on the bubble. So let's see. Let me X this out. Okay. And you can see, yeah, today I closed out. Really what I wanted to do, I saw in the pre-market that QS, which I believe is an EV name. QS is a name that has gone absolutely parabolic in the past. And one of my buddies actually brought this stock up to me, very close to the peak. And I remember I was considering buying it. And, I was like, all right, let's see if it holds the key technical levels. If it does, I might get in. And that was like right up here. So this thing, I knew it had momentum. And one thing I noticed was throughout this entire run up, there were huge call buyers hitting the tape. Like classic gamma squeeze higher, call buyers every single day just throwing millions at this stock. Of course, when this thing crashed, all the call buyers disappeared. And it's just been a complete washout from this stock. What I noticed today was this morning, Morgan Stanley initiated coverage on QS. And they initiated with a price target of $70. So I was like, you know what? This stock has really moved in the past. Pretty much everyone's been washed out. I want to take a position in the pre-market. So I actually had to make some tough decisions in the morning. And I ended up taking Nanox out of my portfolio. Closed it out for $65.25. Nanox is a name that I definitely want to hold for the long term. But just for my trading account, I was like, you know what? I'll take this one out. I said I'll revisit it in the future. and I got long the QS for $51.16. So that ended up working out pretty well, where QS ended up closing at around like $54 and change. GRWG, I wanted to take advantage of this correction in the cannabis names. And you can see GRWG. It's one of the leaders in that space. It's more of like a picks and shovels play. You can see GRWG, pretty nice finish today, bouncing off that 50-day simple moving average, or excuse me, that 20-day simple moving average. So I got long that one. I took a target in my JPM butterfly. I have on the 135, 142, 149 butterfly. We are pretty much right at my target. And that butterfly expires next week. So I was like, you know what, let me take a target for prudence. I closed out just a quarter of the position for $3.69. And I had paid $1.49 for it. So over a 100% winner. And letting the rest ride into OPEX week. So I have the stock Triple D in my portfolio. This name, I wanted to add more exposure to Triple D, but I noticed this stock SSYS, trades, highly correlated to Triple D. So I decided to add a position in that one instead. So I ended up going with a call calendar spread. I bought the June 18th 55 strike call, and I sold the February 19th 55 strike call against it for $7.75. And you can see, if we take a look here at this stock, you can see, it's been pulling back for a couple days. It's getting a bit closer to that 20-day simple moving average. But this stock is in such a strong trend. Same thing with Triple D. You can see the charts look almost identical. Yeah, so I figured, since I already have some Triple D, I'll pick up the SSYS. So yeah, really that play, what I'm looking for is like, okay, I think this stock is going to move higher, but it might not do anything next week for OPEX. So that's why I sold the 55 strike February call. That way, if the stock doesn't really do much next week, I'll collect, that premium for selling that call. So we'll see what happens there. Also put on a starter position in Uber. I bought some September 60 strike calls. And this one is another reopening name. You can see that on this pullback, it sort of retested this level almost perfectly from this prior high. If you take a look, this is going to be a pretty crude drawing, but yeah, so you can see almost a perfect retest of the prior high. So this one looked pretty solid. Ended up taking those 60 strike calls for September. And then the other one, the big one. So I also took an exit in Stitch Fix. Wanted to make more room in the portfolio. Kind of just taking out the things that are underperforming for me. Closed that one out for a small loss. I used those proceeds, rolled them into ENGMF. This is a stock I am super bullish on. It's Enthusiast Gaming, and they are an esports media company, and they own a bunch of, Twitter handles, YouTube channels. They own 7 esports teams, including the world #1 ranked Overwatch team. Forbes ranked them as the number 7 ranked esports company in the world in terms of value. And the other 6 companies that were ahead of it, I don't think they were publicly traded. I really like this company as like a speculative play. I already had a position on at a price of $4.87, and I doubled my position today. So you can see this company, ENGMF. Yeah, they have, I believe it's like an audience of 300 million individuals, and their market cap's only like 500 million. So for me, like I have a Twitter profile. I have maybe like 3,300 followers. I'm like, imagine anyone having a presence of like 300 million people, how valuable that can be. So this is I saw we broke out of this monthly value area, and I put on my starter somewhere in here for like 487. I was like, if we break out of this monthly value area, I'm doubling my position. So that's what I did today. It made a new closing high, and I doubled up on it. So we'll have to see. This one I definitely think could hit, $10+ a share. I think this one might get acquired. Like I saw Amazon acquired Twitch, and I believe it was like 2014. I could definitely see someone acquiring Enthusiast Gaming. So yeah, this one got a bit bigger in that position. And then I just had a couple of spreads expire. So I had, this one was funny. It's a Tesla call spread, 815 by 820. I had taken two targets higher, so made profits on those. This one I thought the runner was going to expire worthless, and at the end of the day, Tesla actually showed a lot of strength. So it kind of like bounced back. And I was like, yes, I was able to collect $1.59 for that. So this one I had paid $2.32. I took off like 50% of the position for maybe like $3 and change, and then another quarter of the position for like $2.52. Then this final piece closed out for $1.59. And then, yeah, final thing, I had a remaining half position of my TTD 835 by 850 February 12th call spread. That one expired for a max winner. I paid $6 for that one, and it expired at a worth of $15. So this week, worked out pretty well overall. Yeah, pretty solid week. So we will have to see what happens. We are about halfway through the month of February now. I'm going to be reporting my results once this month is over for the Investing Championship. So you guys will all be able to see how I did, which is kind of cool for me because it's, just more accountability and more transparency. So it's one of those things where like, the way I see it is like, so there's the investors and traders that take a victory lap on Twitter like every single time a stock moves. And then there's those investors and traders that actually report their P&L every month. So I want to be in that second group where like I'm not going to be that guy who's like taking a victory lap on everything like every single day, but I want to perform well also. Like I want to keep getting better at trading and investing and just see how far I can take it. So let's see. Let's go to some options order flow here really quickly, and then we'll wrap up for the weekend. All right, so let's pull these up. So you can see, let's see what we had for Tesla. Tesla is one that I'm actually kind of interested in playing into next week, just given that strength that it had toward the end of the trading session. So you can see some players came in at 145 with June calls for Tesla, 700 strikes, and 147 also those 700 strikes. And they came in size, two $3.6 million orders. If we look at Tesla, this is what I meant. It was actually pretty funny because coming into today's session, I was like, okay, that last piece of my call spread's probably going to expire for nothing. Literally in like the last 30 minutes of trading, this started making like a little mini run. So we'll see. Right now we're trading on that lower Bollinger Band. I'm seeing a lot of people out there that think Tesla is about to really break down and bring the market with it. But I don't know. I would never bet against this stock. This is just, it's like a Teflon stock. Like the way I see it is like you can bet on this thing and everyone that bets on it, makes money. You can keep doing call spreads on it, keep doing calls on it, whatever you want, so long as you're not, over the tips of your skis with risk. I say this all in the context of like taking normal position sizing. And then if the stock ends up breaking down, like, oh my gosh, the Tesla bubble popped, you might lose that last call spread that you put on or that last bullish position, or you might get stopped out. But for me with Tesla, it's like this thing is bullish until proven bearish. So I see all this space here. We're trading so much closer to the lower Bollinger Band than the upper Bollinger Band. So we'll see. Definitely going to be looking at this one into next week. So we have Tesla. I see the semis have been strong. We have some Intel call buyers coming in. Let's see what Intel looks like. And then we'll go through maybe just one more. and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, so Intel definitely having a really nice run, but it's a little bit overbought at this point. You can see it traded up above that upper Bollinger Band, and then a little bit of selling that just brought it back. Now let's take a look. GPS. Let's see this one. I see some March calls for March 5th coming in size. Let's see. It's a name that I don't really see too often for the options order flow. Okay, yeah, and this one put in a doji candle. Looks like somebody's coming in with some bull bets. Oh, the Gap. Oh my gosh, retailer. Okay. I wasn't sure which company that was at first. And then we have, looks like some players buying some puts towards the end of the day. That about does it for this market recap video. Hope you all have a great weekend. Hope you all enjoy your Valentine's Day. And I will see you all next week.